Emperor Selassie buried in toilet and why it took the 25 years to bury Haile Selassie's. Imagine this, Ethiopia's last emperor worshipped by millions, feared by enemies, respected by world leaders dies under suspicious circumstances, his body vanishes, whispers of assassination spread, and for 25 years his remains lie hidden. Even more shocking, rumors claim he was buried beneath a palace toilet before finally being moved to a cathedral to Addis Ababa. Why was Haile Selassie overthrown? How did he die? Why was he buried in a toilet? And why did it take 25 long years to bury him with dignity? Stick around because this story is filled with betrayal, conspiracy, prophecy, and global symbolism that will leave you questioning everything you thought you knew about African history. Haile Selassie isn't just a historical figure, he's a symbol, a prophet, and for many, a divine being. To Ethiopians, he was both a modernizer and a monarch tied to tradition. To Rastafarians, he is Jah, the living God. To the world, he was the African emperor who stood before the League of Nations and warned of fascism long before World War II, but his life ended in secrecy, his death hidden, and his burial delayed for decades. Today, we'll unpack every mystery, his exile, his overthrow, the claims of assassination, the toilet burial, Bob Marley's devotion, and Queen Elizabeth's bow. By the end, you'll see why Haile Selassie's legacy is one of the most fascinating and haunting in history. Why did Haile Selassie go into exile? The story of Haile Selassie's mystery doesn't begin with his death, it begins with his exile. In 1935, Benito Mussolini's fascist Italy launched a brutal invasion of Ethiopia, using chemical weapons, modern tanks, and aircraft against Ethiopian soldiers who still fought with rifles and spears. Selassie, despite rallying his people, could not withstand the invasion. In 1936, he fled to England, living in exile in Bath. But exile didn't silence him, it made him a global figure. At the League of Nations in Geneva, he gave a historic speech warning the world. "It is us today, it will be you tomorrow." His words became prophetic. The world ignored Ethiopia's cries, and within years, Europe was consumed by World War II. In 1941, with the help of Allied forces, Selassie returned triumphantly to Ethiopia. His comeback was hailed as divine justice, cementing his role as the Lion of Judah and giving him an aura of invincibility. Why was Haile Selassie overthrown? But empires rise and fall. By the 1970s, Ethiopia faced deep crises, famine, poverty, student uprisings, and economic instability. The emperor, once adored, was now accused of clinging to outdated traditions while millions starved. In 1974, the military, led by a Marxist group called the Derg, staged a coup. The monarchy was abolished. The King of Kings, who once commanded armies and inspired nations, was reduced to a prisoner in his own palace. For many Ethiopians, the overthrow symbolized betrayal. To others, it was justice and end to imperial rule. But no one expected what came next. How did Haile Selassie die? In August 1975, news broke. Haile Selassie was dead. The official cause? Natural causes, complications from age and health. He was 83, but almost immediately suspicions arose. His personal physician insisted Selassie had been in stable health days before. Loyalists whispered that he had been murdered, and defectors from the Derg later claimed that Mengistu Haile Mariam, the ruthless leader of the junta, ordered his death strangled in bed or suffocated with a pillow. The secrecy surrounding his body fueled the rumors. No funeral, no grave, just silence. What was the cause of Haile Selassie's death? The debate continues to this day. The official Derg version, natural causes. The physicians claim sudden death was suspicious. Exiled Ethiopians' belief, assassination. Historians' conclusion, most likely murdered to eliminate him as a rallying point for monarchists. Declassified Western documents later hinted that intelligence agencies believed foul play was involved, but Mengistu, even in exile in Zimbabwe, has never admitted to killing the emperor. Why was he buried in toilet? Here lies the darkest and most humiliating chapter. Multiple testimonies claim that after his death, Selassie's body was hidden under a toilet in the palace. Why? To erase his memory, to deny him dignity, to ensure there was no grave where loyalists could gather. For years, the palace was remodeled and the body remained hidden. The symbolism was clear: the once mighty emperor, reduced to nothing, flushed away in history. In 1992, after the fall of Mengistu and the Derg, bones believed to be Selassie's were discovered buried beneath a palace bathroom. The revelation shocked Ethiopia and the world. The Lion of Judah, humiliated even in death. How was Haile Selassie buried? Finally, after decades, the emperor was given a reburial. In November 2000, in Addis Ababa's Holy Trinity Cathedral, Selassie's remains were laid to rest in a grand ceremony. The cathedral, home to emperors and saints, became his final resting place. Yet even this burial was controversial. The government at the time refused to declare it a full state funeral, fearing it might revive monarchist sympathies. Rastafarians traveled from across the world, weeping and chanting as their Messiah was reburied. For many, it was not just a burial but a resurrection of dignity. Why did it take 25 years to bury Haile Selassie? The delay was political. The Derg 1974–1991, determined to erase Selassie's memory, they hid his body and denied his existence. Only after 25 years did pressure from the Orthodox Church, Royalists, and Rastafarians force a symbolic burial, but the delay turned Selassie into a myth. For many, the 25-year gap confirmed that his death was never truly resolved. What did Bob Marley say about Haile Selassie? Bob Marley, the king of reggae, played a central role in immortalizing Selassie. To Rastafarians, Selassie was not just an emperor, he was Jah incarnate, the Messiah returned to earth. Marley's famous song War was based directly on Selassie's 1963 speech, where he declared, "Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, there will be war," Marley once said. We know him as the supreme being. For Rastafarians worldwide, Selassie never died. His burial, his death, even the rumors of assassination, none of it matters, because to them he is eternal. Did Queen Elizabeth bow to Emperor Haile Selassie? Yes, she did. In 1954, during a state visit to the United Kingdom, Haile Selassie was received with extraordinary honor. Historical footage shows Queen Elizabeth making a gesture of deference to the Ethiopian emperor. For Africans, this was revolutionary. An African monarch, centuries after colonial humiliation, was shown respect by Britain's queen. It symbolized Selassie's global stature. He was not just another leader. He was royalty on par with Europe's greatest dynasties. How was Haile Selassie assassinated? If assassination indeed happened, how? Defectors say he was strangled in bed with a pillow. Others insist he was poisoned slowly. One chilling account suggests Mengistu himself may have overseen it. What's certain is this: the Derg never wanted the truth revealed. By eliminating Selassie, they believed they had eliminated Ethiopia's monarchy forever. But history had other plans. His body may have been hidden, but his legend grew stronger. When Selassie's coffin was finally lowered into Holy Trinity Cathedral in 2000, the crowd wept. The emperor, denied dignity for 25 years, was finally given a tomb. From toilet to tomb, his journey became a symbol of Ethiopia's tortured history, caught between monarchy, dictatorship, and democracy. His death remains unsolved, his burial remains controversial, and his legacy remains immortal. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Haile Selassie was assassinated, or did he truly die of natural causes? And what do you think about the claim that he was buried under a toilet? Was it humiliation or symbolic revenge by the Derg? Drop your thoughts below. I'll be reading your comments. Let's analyze Selassie's death and burial through three lenses. The political lens: Selassie was overthrown because Ethiopia needed radical reform. The Derg murdered him or allowed him to die to secure their grip on power. By hiding his body, they tried to erase his influence. The symbolic lens: the toilet burial wasn't just about hiding a corpse. It was humiliation, an attempt to reduce an emperor to nothing. But instead, it backfired. The toilet to tomb story turned Selassie into a martyr, immortalizing him as the emperor who could not be erased. The spiritual lens: to Rastafarians, Haile Selassie cannot die. He is Jah, eternal and divine. Whether buried under a toilet or in a cathedral, his essence transcends politics. Bob Marley's music ensured that Selassie's name would echo across generations. Conclusion summary. So where does this leave us? Haile Selassie was exiled, restored, overthrown, and possibly assassinated. His body was hidden, his memory attacked, and his burial delayed for 25 years. From toilet to tomb, his journey reflects Ethiopia's struggle between monarchy, revolution, and modernity. Yet his legacy, political, spiritual, and cultural, lives on. The Lion of Judah may have died in mystery, but his roar still echoes in history. If this story shocked you, hit like, subscribe, and share your theories below. And don't miss our next video, where we uncover more mysteries of African leaders whose lives and deaths remain shrouded in secrecy.